What's up everyone, MeJP2 here, and in today's video, we have level 50 Galarian Articuno returning to the Master League now that it's been buffed with its new move of Fly. Now Fly, pretty good move. It's 5 energy more than a Hydro Cannon for the same damage, but that's still really good. Now, I remember last time I ran Articuno, I don't think Kurum or the Crown forms were out, and the problem is that Galarian Articuno loses to both of those. Now yes, Zamazenta is a fighting type, but it also takes neutral because of its steel typing, so flying only hits for neutral. And 2 flies don't KO. Meanwhile, the Metal Claws plus a Behemoth Bash will destroy Articuno, so it doesn't do that well. I did make a post earlier talking about how this thing isn't really that good, but I got some comments saying that you guys still like a video, that's why I'm doing this. But so I've paired it up with Kurum and Necrozma, so we'll see how it does. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let's get to the battles. In the first battle, we see Kurum into Groudon. This, if we had Kurum White, would be a significantly better matchup because Ice Fang would tear Groudon apart, but even with the Kurum Black, it's not that bad. I'm going to make a very nice catch of what hopefully is a Precipice Blades, and it is. Precipice Blades does still a decent amount of damage, even though it's double resisted, and now Articuno will be able to go for a Fly. Fly will get them pretty close to the red, and now they're going to go for another move. It's probably a Fire Punch, but then they actually throw a Precipice Blades. I really don't know why they did that. This is decently low elo, I'm pretty sure it's about Ace. But so, they then send out Necrozma, which is a hard wall. They probably should have sent that out immediately. And then they shield the Fly. Like, I kind of understand shielding the Fly because you don't really know what Articuno knows. And a lot of Psychic types have access to Shadow Ball for some reason, so I'm assuming they were shielding because of that. Now, Kurum will be able to get a full farm down, and now they're going to send out Palkia. I'm going to go for a Fusion Bolt bait, because I'll be 1 off the Freeze Shock afterwards, and now Freeze Shock will probably get their final shield, because if they don't, they're going to get hit for huge damage. It does huge damage. We also get the attack debuff. We're just able to fully farm down. They can send back out Groudon, but I'll be able to go for a Fly with Articuno. Articuno will be able to take him out with his Fly, and we will be able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Kurum into Dragonite. Now, since Dragonite's going to have to be on a fast move that's super effective into Kurum, this isn't ideal, and Dragon Tail will hit for a lot of damage. I will go for a Fusion Bolt. Opponent might shield this, because it'll do a lot of damage. And now, they're going to actually go for a move here. I don't think they could get a full farm down, so makes sense for them to throw Dragon Claw. And now, I'll send out Articuno. Now, Articuno should be able to take care of them, but then they send out Necrozma, and this isn't that good. Like, I gave them too much of an energy head start by not switching out very fast, so they should be able to make it to 2 Dark Pulses. So I'm just going to have to go for a Dark Pulse of my own to take them out before they make another move. If they send out Dragonite, they can make it to a move here. I think a Superpower might KO, be pretty close. It doesn't, but we don't even get the next move. Now, oh, we were never winning that. Okay, next battle, and we see Kurum White in the lead. Now it's an interesting lead, because I'll be able to make it to a Freeze Shock right when they make a Fusion Flare. In my Kurum, it's level 49.5, but with the Best Buddy boost, it's going to be level 50.5. So it can lose CMP to a Best Buddy Kurum, but typically it'll win CMP against most other ones. And yeah, this one, I think this one is Best Buddy boosted, because they make a Fusion Flare. And yeah, it is, looking at the combat power. Also, my Articuno is Best Buddied, but I valued the Best Buddy boost on Kurum a lot more than I did on Articuno, so that's why it's not there. Now, Necrozma is going to have an interesting time getting rid of this Kurum. I'll have to shield up the Fusion Flare. I'm going to try and undercharge a Dark Pulse. I undercharged it a bit too much, and then they send out Groudon. If I was at full health, I might be able to try and catch a Precipice Blades, but I'm pretty sure that I have a bit too much health missing. And as you can see, I sent out Articuno and they sent out Metagross. So yeah, Articuno, it's really easy to wall. That's the main problem. Like Rhyperior and any steel type just fully walls it, which just makes it really difficult to run. I'm going to try and get as much damage onto this as possible, because it's still possible to win. I might be able to get him into farm down range for Necrozma, but I'm pretty sure they have too much energy here. Yeah, they do. So they're going to be able to go for Meteor Mash, and it'll take me out, and we do lose that game. We see Mewtwo on the lead in the next battle. Mewtwo's kind of fallen off since the introduction of the Kurums. It'll probably fall off even more with the crown forms. But, so they're going to be able to go for a Side Strike. Side Strike will not take me out, and now I'll be able to just CMP tie him. There's something so fun about winning CMP over Mewtwo. And now, Fusion Bolt gets a shield actually, which is fine, because I can throw 5 more Shadow Claws and CMP tie him again. So now, they're going to throw on CMP, so will I. So, I'll be able to go for a Fusion Bolt. This will take him out unless they shield, and they do just let it take him out. They send out their own Kurum, and they're on Dragon Tail, so I'm not going to be able to make it to another move. Well, another Free Shock, but I'll be able to make it to a Fusion Bolt, which does some alright damage. I'm going to send out Necrozma because Articuno would not enjoy Fusion Bolt. Necrozma really doesn't either, but it'll tank it better. So they're going to go for Fusion Bolt. Fusion Bolt will hit for some okay damage, and then the opponent sends out Kyogre. Now, Kyogre, it can survive 2 flies, which is kind of problematic. Like, there's fly number 1. It does a nice amount of damage, but I'm going to need to farm up a bit more just so that the Psycho Cuts will add up and they're into fly range. So, I'm going to farm up as much as possible. Well, not as much as possible, but a decent amount, and then go for another fly. Fly will get them very low, and we're barely able to farm them down. They're going to send back out Kurum. I'll be able to make it to an Ancient Power. Ancient Power will hit for super effective, even if it is not the strongest move. But we're able to Psycho Cut farm him down, and we will take that game. We see Primarina on the lead in the next battle. Not a really good lead. I'm going to check the fast move and then switch out into Necrozma. Now, opponent sends out Palkia, and this is probably the best place to see Palkia. I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse, they might think it's an Outrage, so they actually shield it. Now, I live in Aquatail here, and it's still not going to be an easy farm down for them, so I'm going to be able to go for another Dark Pulse. They still don't know if my other move is Outrage, so they might shield again, and they actually do. I'm going to actually be able to force them to throw, because I think I'd be able to make it to another potential Outrage if they didn't throw. And so now, I'll just send out Articuno. They're going to send back out Primarina. This is fine. I'd rather see it on Articuno than on Kurum. Yeah, they go for Disarming Voice for some reason. When it's neutral, I'm pretty sure Hydro Cannon's just straight up better. But I'm going to be able to go for a couple Ancient Powers. I know one Fly won't KO, so I might as well go for the boost chance that Ancient Power has. And I'm going to be able to go for the second Ancient Power. Takes them out, and of course no boost. They are going to send back out Palkia, and I will be able to go for a Fly. Fly will hit for some respectable damage, and they're actually going to throw a move here. They didn't need to. I think they could just farm me down, but I'm not going to complain about them wasting energy. They have their own Kurum in the back, and since they switched, they're 1 turn behind, so I'm just going to go straight for the Free Shock. That does a decent amount of damage. And now, I'm going to be able to shield up their move. Free Shock from them. Doesn't even get the attack debuff. Wouldn't even matter. We're able to farm them down, and we do take that game. We see Gyarados in the lead in the next battle. Now, double super effective Fusion Bolt will basically take out Gyarados and its entire extended family, and they're going to be able to catch it onto a Melmetal. Now, catching it on a Melmetal is honestly fine, because I need damage into this, and I'll just be able to farm up 4, and then if they went for double Iron Bash, I'd be able to catch it. But now, Melmetal is put in a difficult spot, unless they have Thunderbolt, because if they want to hit for neutral, they have to debuff themselves, and so they can go for a superpower, they can go for another one, but still not very threatening. And now, I'll be able to CMP tie him. Dark Pulse will easily take him out with those defense debuffs. It might take him out without him, honestly. And they're actually going to shield. Now, their third superpower, it's debuffed. It won't take me out. And as a result, I'm actually going to just be able to survive it. They snipe with Dragonite, but Dragonite having a shield disadvantage is fine, because now I'll be able to go for an Ancient Power. Ancient Power will hit for some pretty nice damage, and I will live a Dragon Claw here. I am going to shield just because I want to preserve health, but I would be able to tank it. I do lose CMP here, and I'm not willing to go down another shield, so I'm going to let this Dragon Claw go. It's going to do some okay damage, and I'm going to go for another Ancient Power. Ancient Power will take him out, and they're going to send back out Gyarados. I watch for the catch. I'm not falling for that again. And now I have several Fusion Bolts. So they're going to go for a move here. Absolutely no point in not shielding it, so I'm obviously going to put up a shield. I'm going to go for a Fusion Bolt. Fusion Bolt will take him out, so they're going to shield it. But now I have a second Fusion Bolt. Fusion Bolt, double super effective. It's from a Kurum. Bye-bye Gyarados, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Kurum into the mirror. Now, this Kurum, we are going to be able to win CP. They send out Terrakion, and I saw the fighting type and sent out Articuno, and this isn't the best matchup. We do live a Rock Slide, but they're able to tank a Fly decently well. Now, if they're going to go for a move, it's probably a Rock Slide. Rock Slide hits for some nice damage, and now they're going to go for another move. Now, if my counts are correct, this should only be a Sacred Sword, which is double resisted, does nothing. And now I'm going to be able to farm a bit more. I'm going to go for an Ancient Power. I assumed it would take him out from this range. It actually doesn't, but that's fine. We're able to actually get 2 more Psycho Cuts, so it does work out in my favor. They send back out their Kurum, and with a moderate energy advantage, this is not good. Granted, I have 2 Shadow Claws as well, so it's actually not an energy advantage, but then they send out Annihilate. Now this really hurt to see, because if I had just sent out Necrozma into the Terrakion, it probably would have gone a lot better, because Articuno would be able to wreck Annihilate, but this is fine as well. Now they're going to double shield, just try and get my Necrozma farm down, and they'll be able to do that, but the energy that they leave with is immediately just gone, because Fusion Bolt takes them out, and now I just have a Kurum up 2 shields, so this game's over. They're going to go for a Fusion Bolt. It doesn't do any damage because I shield it. There's absolutely no reason trying to call that Fusion Bolt bait. I have 2 shields. I'm going to Free Shock him, it takes him out, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Metagross on the lead. Now, interesting fact about this matchup is that if Metagross wants to double shield, they can just fully Bullet Punch through Kurum because of the Bullet Punch damage buff. Now, I'll be able to go for a Fusion Bolt. This will hit for a lot of damage, so they do shield it. And now if they want to go for a move, they can go right ahead. This will take me out, but then I'll get an insane amount of farm on Necrozma. So I'm going to send out Necrozma. Necrozma will be able to just fully farm down. I'm going to commit a shield, because why not? And now, with this much farm, it's pretty easy to win in the back. So they're going to get farmed down. They send out Yveltal. This is honestly not that good. I go for a Dark Pulse bait. They do actually shield it. And now, I'll just be able to go for a Sunsteel. Sunsteel will hit for an insane amount of damage. So yeah, that hits really hard. They can go for a move. This will take me out if it's a Dark Pulse. And it does. I can just send out Articuno though. Hopefully something in the back is weak to Articuno. So I'll just be able to go for an Ancient Power. Ancient Power will just be able to take them out. And no boost, but then they send out Togekiss. Now, Togekiss is pretty bad in the Master League, just because it has really slow pacing, and Charm, if it's not super effective, doesn't do much damage. I'll be able to make it to 2 Ancient Powers. This should take them out. If not, it'll come really close. And yeah, they survive, but we're just able to go for 1 more Psycho Cut, take them out, and we take that game. We see Florus on the lead in the next battle. This is an interesting lead because, yes, they have a bunch of fairy moves, but I'm going to just be able to catch that move. If they went for a Moonblast, great, that's a bunch of energy wasted. If they went for a Trailblaze, okay. But yeah, we catch the Moonblast, they send out Rhyperior, and honestly, this is good. Articuno does not want to see Rhyperior, and I should be able to get a shield with the Sunsteel. Sunsteel, if they no-shield it, their Rhyperior's gone. So, yeah, they shield it, and now I'll just be able to go for a Freeze Shock. If they shield this, it might get a bit dicey, but I don't think they will, and they don't. Now, they're going to send back out Florus, but they're pretty much dry on energy now. And I'll be able to make it to a Freeze Shock on CMP. This Freeze Shock will be able to, I think, take them out, so they're going to have to go for another shield. At this point, Articuno has 2 shields. I think that's good enough setup. So I'm going to send out Articuno. 1 Fly will not take him out, so I'm probably just going to go for the double Ancient Powers, just because then I have a decently good chance of getting a boost. The opponent tries to make a catch on a Dragonite, though. And also, that Dragonite was on Steel Wing. I don't really know why, but they are. And we actually do get a boost from the Ancient Power, for once. And now I'm going to be able to go for another Ancient Power, takes him out, and now with the Ancient Power boost, I'm pretty sure a Fly will put him into a range where we can either Psycho Cut him down, or it'll just take him out. And it does take him out, and we are able to take that game. We see Necrozma Dawnwings on the lead in the next battle. This is pretty good. Shadow Claw will tear them apart. Opponent saves, which is Metagross. And since I'm fast enough on the switch here, Dark Pulse will be reached before an Earthquake. So this will, I'm pretty sure, just straight up take them out. So they have to shield if they want to even try to take switch, but I'm going to match shields. Even if this is a bait, I should be able to make it to their Dark Pulse before they're able to ever make it to another move. Dark Pulse here, it should take them out, unless they want to double shield, and they don't. And they send out Ho-Oh. This is honestly fine. Like, I won't make it to 2 moves here, So I'm going to go for Sunsteel Strike because it does a bit more. Opponent is actually going to shield it, which is even better. Now I'm going to send out Articuno just to soak energy, because they can go for a Sacred Fire here, or a Brave Bird, doesn't matter. I'll tank it. It does get the attack debuff, which is really unfortunate, because that means this Ancient Power is going to do a lot less. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have been able to just fully take them out with that Ancient Power if I hadn't gotten debuffed, but whatever. They send out Necrozma, we're just going to Freeze Shock them, that hits for a ton of damage. We Shadow Claw him down. Ho-Oh doesn't have 2 moves, so bye-bye, and we're able to take that game. We see Necrozma on the lead in the next battle. This is the Dusk main one, so it's a pretty good lead. We're going to be able to just go for a bunch of Shadow Claws. They're going to go for a move here. I'm going to shield because it might be an Outrage. It is an Outrage, so it's a pretty good shield. And the opponent sends out Palkia. I'm going to go straight for a Freeze Shock here. Hits for a ton of damage. They probably thought they caught a Fusion Bolt, but at this point, I can just send out Necrozma. Necrozma will fully Shadow Claw him down, and this should be a pretty straightforward game after this, I think. They send out Groudon, and yeah, this game is pretty straightforward now. I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse because they're 100% going to shield, and then I'll be able to go for another Dark Pulse. They do shield. This is a CMP tie, which is fine. Fire Punch, I don't think takes me out. It almost does. Actually, that's worse because they get an extra Mud Shot. I'll send out Articuno, though. Articuno will be able to do fine here. Fire Punch does not do much damage. It's not going to get same type attack bonus. Opponent sends back out Necrozma. I'll be able to send out Kurum. Kurum will be able to make it to a Fusion Bolt. So a Fusion Bolt is going to be able to hit for a ton of damage. They actually will shield. At this point, I'm thinking I'll just shield Kurum. It'll be fine. They go for another Outrage, and I'll just be able to fully Shadow Claw him down, leave with a Freeze Shock. And while Articuno could probably take care of Groudon from this range, Freeze Shock will certainly take care of him. I wanted to undercharge that to see if I could let Articuno close out the game, but it's still KOs, even with a Nice, which is just insane. We see Palkia lead the next battle. I'm going to safe switch Necrozma, and the opponent's going to respond with a Necrozma of their own. Now, sending in a Necrozma into the mirror when you're down energy is just asking to lose switch, so that's fine. They're going to go for another move here. Honestly, I'm going to shield to see if I can get their final shield, because if I can get their final shield, and then they go for another Dark Pulse to take me out, I can get a ton of farm on Kurum, which is perfect. So they're going to go for another Dark Pulse here, and so they're going to be able to take me out with this, but I'll be able to send out Kurum, just get a bunch of energy. They're not going to pivot back out into their Palkia because they're probably thinking I have a stronger answer in the back, so they're actually going to be staying in. They're going to Dark Pulse the Kurum, which is fine, and I'm going to leave with a Freeze Shock. If they want to send out Palkia, Palkia is going to have to take that to the face, and now I'm going to catch the Aqua Tail. This is honestly worse because this hits for neutral here instead of resisted into Kurum, but who cares? It does not do any damage, and now they're going to be hit with a Fly from Articuno. Now I checked Articuno, it does tank a Stone Edge if it's at full health, but we're obviously not at full health. Stone Edge will take me out, and now I'm just going to Freeze Shock them because it guarantees the KO, and their Palkia is low enough, one Shadow Claw takes him out, and we are able to take that game. Overall, Articuno is a pretty alignment-dependent Pokemon, if I'm being honest, because it'll hard lose its bad matchups, but it does pretty well in its good ones. So it's not really a good Pokemon for a healthy meta. Like, you want flexible Pokemon for a healthy meta because it's mostly skill. But this thing will just get destroyed if it's aligned against the wrong thing, which is not a good sign of a flexible Pokemon. So yeah, it's honestly not that good in this meta right now, but it was still able to do pretty well in some scenarios. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.